Live on Facebook.
There we are. Yay! Hello, my warriors. How are you today? So glad to be here with Naomi and Samantha. We have a little bit of problems with technology, but we're here. I'm so happy to have Samantha and Naomi here with us because they're going to tell us all about how they can help parents and children with their courses and these amazing books that they created for parents and children to work together and get to know each other and get to know the problems and get have better communication. I'm just gonna let them talk about all this. So I want to know, what is your backstory and how did you came together to create the Raising a Warrior program that you have?
Yeah, well, first of all, I would like to say a huge thank you to you, Lydia, for inviting us on to talk in your group. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And I was looking through your page the other day on Facebook, and I love how you say good morning warriors to all of your people, because we are raising a warrior.
Because we are.
I love that connection. So yeah, Naomi and I have known each other for it will be 4 years this year, so not too long. And it was a mutual friend who simply said, you guys have to meet. That's what she said. You just have to meet. So we did meet, and within 5 minutes, it was instant connection, instant best friendship, instant partnership. And we very quickly realized that we both have a huge passion for self-development, but the kind of self-development that's really accessible and really raw and real life. No fancy tricks, no big flashy words, just getting stuck in, dealing with the rubbish, dealing with the ups and the downs, and just becoming the best versions of ourselves that we can be. Combine that with over 40 years of experience between us of working with children. And we thought, how can we combine all of that absolute passion for self-development, our unbelievable dedication to all of the children we work with in various different settings. And within months of meeting, we had started writing our book. And the way that we've written it is to split it into 3 parts. So the first part, we follow the story of 2 sisters, fictional story, 2 sisters who tragically lose both parents or have lost both parents, so are orphans, get separated from each other, and then it follows their story of really just rebuilding their lives and tackling all of the massive obstacles that come with that sort of thing. We then put the middle section as an activity section for the children, and we wrote it through the voices of the sisters so that it's really speaking to the children, which is one of our huge things. We always said we don't want to write a fancy book for parents that just says to parents, this is what's going on with your children. We actually want to reach the children, so everything we do is for them. So that's the middle section, loads of activities. And then the final section, we've broken it all down for the parents to describe our ethos, all of the practical elements behind every activity, what we're trying to achieve. So yeah, and we are now, well, we feel like we're at the start of our journey, really. We've got so much more to come. But I think that answers how we came together, hopefully.
I really, because I had a little chat with you like prior to this interview, and you two come from different backgrounds. And
yes.
it's really amazing how you two come together to do the same thing. So now, because, okay, just tell me a little bit of your different backgrounds in here.
Okay, so my background is basically I'm an occupational therapist by trade. So that's working with mental, physical and emotional difficulties. And it's looking quite a lot at children with sensory needs, sensory regulation, and then also about helping life skills, breaking it down into the person, environment and occupation and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how my brain works and sees things. And then I specialized using it outdoors and more in nature to try and help children and things like that. So from that though, both me and Samantha, we've spent many hours talking, and we say that we've got so much to explain and so many tools in our toolkit, but we can only speak to those that we're actually stood with at that time. So when we created Raising a Warrior, we were like, right, we've got to make these tools accessible to anybody around the world, because we're saying the same thing, but it's only like face to face to one person. And we're like, we've tried these tools now like for thousands of hours and got really nice results from them. So we're like, how can we get these so they're accessible, whether it's in the book or online course or different things like that. So that's kind of how my background profession filtered into creating these things that's why everything's online, is so it's that accessible globally. So if you're on holiday, it's like, don't worry, we'll just log into the login area and grab it, rather than like, oh shoot, we've got to get on a flight back to England and try and find them and book them in and all that stuff. So that's kind of where I come from.
Yeah. And I mean, I've got a background in helping children with special needs, but that was a long time ago. I currently work as a child sleep consultant, and in particular when I'm working with the older children with their sleep difficulties, it's often linked to behavioral issues, anxiety, low self-esteem, fears, phobias, all that sort of thing. So a lot of what I tackle in terms of the sleep side of things is actually addressing what's going on in the home, what's going on at school, what's going on in the dynamics in the household, siblings, that sort of thing, and breaking all that down. And the same as Naomi, I can only reach that one family that I'm working with at the time. So for us, it was about pooling all of our knowledge together, putting it into a book, putting it into a course, and so we can hopefully just reach more and more and more families and pass over this knowledge that we've got. And combined, it's so. I once read that a whole person and a whole person creates a super person.
Yeah.
And I feel that with us, you know,
Yeah.
we've got ourselves sorted out, and then we've put us together, and it's created.
Because you do have different skills that
Yeah.
a lot of parents in this group need for the children, and the way that you put them together in the course and the book is really amazing. So will you talk about the book a little bit before? Yeah. So
That's that one.
yeah, I was gonna ask you that. So,
Don't worry, I've got it covered. It's here.
Yeah.
That's
Tell
what
us
you
a
need
little
to-
bit like how the book works and how can parents use it and how can the children use it. Yeah, just get a
Right.
little more into detail.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, we started off with a story, and the story, like Samantha said, was about these two sisters, but sometimes it's easier to process life events and to process some difficult topics when you're watching somebody else live it, if that makes sense. It's like, okay, you can see the wood for the trees and take a step back. So we introduce a lot of changes. We introduce loss, we introduce finding our strengths, overcoming friendship challenges, all within their story and their journey, to start to plant those seeds of these are important topics to explore. Then from that, you'll get to the next section of the book, which is like children activities. So we actually speak to the children from the two sisters' point of view. That's to keep it so that they feel connected to them. They've read their story, read their journey, and now the sisters are saying, hey, come on, let's see what we can do with you, and let's see what we can create in your life. So both me and Samantha have always from the very onset not shied away from the tough stuff, because if we get the tough stuff dealt with, a lot of problems dissolve away. So these children's activities are all about those emotional explosions that happen, how to create a routine, why it's important to have a routine, why it's important to make your bed in the morning, those kind of things. And also, what happens when you lose somebody? What happens if a child loses their favorite grandparents? How do you approach that subject? So the kids activity book is specifically for the kids to do, I think it's 20 activities covering 20 different topics, and starting to give them the tools. And this is really important for us. They themselves have the tools to handle these conversations and these challenges that they will face. We can't avoid it in life. But just to say that parents, don't worry, we have it covered, because if you've ever tried to then sit down and have a personal development talk with an 8-year-old or 11-year-old, it is pretty tricky. So what we've done is, the third part of the book is an explanation and basically quite a script for you guys, and questions and prompts, so that we help you through those conversations of how to navigate them and how to kind of draw it out of your child and say, hey, it's okay for us to talk about this stuff, and for the adults to understand what it was we were trying to achieve with that child, so they can get involved and facilitate. And a lot of the activities, we've got feedbacks from parents going, hey, we're doing them too, so because they found it useful as well. So that's
two things I really like about the book and the courses is like how you guys done, you go straight to the point. Like you talk about raw things that can, because sometimes we tend to protect our children too much and protect them from reality. So when they, like you, because you do pre-teenagers,
yeah.
So when they come like to a teenage age, or they like young adults, they are not ready for the world because we protected them too much.
Yeah.
But that's something that I really like from you guys, because you just talk things just like they are to the kids and to the parents.
Yeah.
Well, we're not really bubble wrapping is good for so long. But when they kind of, you've got this beautiful window of opportunity where they are still young enough to listen and engage with you, but full-blown hormones haven't quite kicked in yet. So in this little window, if you can give them a toolkit of how to cope with the ups and downs, challenges of life, when the hormones kick in and they're teenagers and everything kind of goes a bit out of kilter, they've already got the muscle memory of it, and they can call upon that when friendships change and different things happen. Do you want to add anything, Samantha? Because I've got motor mouth.
No, all good.
No, I mean, are you sitting in the bouncy ball?
Like, we'll get to this in a bit because it's one of your questions, but you'll understand why I'm on a bouncy ball and why Samantha is so patient with me, because most people get car sick while I'm bouncing around.
Right. So my next question was that you guys based the course and the book like depending on the learning styles. I don't know if the parents who are watching us, we all have different learning styles depending on what of our 5 senses we use the most. So some of us can be more visual, some of us can be more auditory, some of us will be more logic or more kinesthetic. So that creates a lot of it can be like a barrier of communication in between people, even though if we speak about the same thing, we use different words depending on what sense we use the most, and that creates a barrier of communication. But you guys have based your courses and your book tailored to whatever learning style the kids have. So how is this working then?
Samantha, do you want to do visual and auditory, because you're amazing at that?
Sure. So throughout our journey together, I think because we are such honest people and we don't shy away from the tough topics, we were actually able to speak to each other about our differences as well as our strengths, and really learn how to use those to the full advantage when putting all of this together. We're not insulted by each other. We don't get hurt if one of us says something to the other one. And one of the things, obviously, like you just said, Lydia, was the fact that we actually have two very, very different learning styles. So I'm a visual learner, so I need to see things, in visual format in order to retain the information. I express myself visually, and much to Naomi's annoyance, I am such a perfectionist when it comes to how things look visually. Naomi just laughs at me. I would spend 4 hours mulling over a comma, where it needed to go. So we wanted to reach the visual learners and the auditory learners through our course. So we've provided a lot of very hands-on visual practical skills that a visual learner can enjoy doing, enjoy looking at, and then it's also a way for them to recall the information and to understand the information as well. So for me, that was my input very much throughout the course and the book, was to teach Naomi how I learn. And she's going to come on to this now. She is a kinesthetic learner all the way, and I have learned such a lot about kinesthetic learning through Naomi. And she has woven that into the course in the most incredible way. So we actually have 2 versions of our course, one to be downloaded by the visual and auditory learners, and one to be downloaded by the kinesthetic learners. So the content's the same, but the way we're teaching it and the way we're asking the children to carry out the activities is very different. But we wanted it to be accessible to everybody. Kinesthetic learning children can often be misunderstood as naughty and not listening and not paying attention. Just not the case. So over to Naomi, she'll explain kinesthetic learning.
Right, so that's one question. So if I want to get into your course and I don't know if I'm kinesthetic or auditory or visual, how do I know which one to get?
So both of them are accessible. So if you purchase the course, you have access to both versions. We recently did a blog on learning styles, and within that blog we've suggested, is it 3 different activities to do with children to find out how they're learning, to find out how they're managing to retain information. So I think the link to the blog is in there some.
When you actually go to the page, you can see the blog, or you can go on the blog page of the website, and it's under learning styles. And you basically you read, and when you're reading it, your brain just goes, oh my goodness, that's me.
And like we said, it's the same content, just presented in a very different way. So Naomi will talk to you about kinesthetic learning.
So we are the trouble kids, the fidget kids, the oh my goodness, why have you not sat at the dinner table? As you can see, I have not stopped moving. I get up at 5 and I do not stop moving until I crash out at night. It's how I work. But for me, so the kinesthetic learning style is we can only process or actually listen to you while we're moving. So if I was to stay stationary, like literally my battery life is radically reducing because I'm having to use so much more focus to try and hear and listen to you. And most of the time I miss a lot of what's being said or asked of me. So when we created the kinesthetic learning style, for me to watch something visually, it's wonderful. But until I met Samantha, I didn't understand actually the beauty of visual learning and the beauty of people being able to pick up like a wrong note or something auditory. But kinesthetically, what we did was we said, right, when you're doing these activities, you need to move around, you need to bounce up and down, you need to be sat on an exercise ball, you need blue tack, you need all these different things.
Yeah.
And what we wanted to achieve during the course is for a child to go, hey, I learned this way and it's okay. So when I'm sat in a situation, they will not get me to sit still, because I'm like, no, if you want me to listen and actually learn, let me move.
Yeah.
So if a child learns that, hey, I need to watch you do it, or I need to listen to you first, or I need to move while we're doing this, they then get the confidence that they can learn anything they want in life.
Yeah.
And how amazing is that? Like, they could be and do or have anything they ever wanted, just because they clicked on and went, this is how I learn. So can you, teacher, instead of me having to learn in your learning style, change it so I'm learning in my learning style? And that's the greatness of, like, some of the most amazing teachers can flip information to the different learning styles just like that. So as you can see, I'm a little fidget monster. I'm sat on an exercise ball, but also, like, when me and Samantha were writing it, she'll notice I'll be there concentrating, and then she'll go, you need a cup of tea, don't you? I'm like, yes, please, just let me move, because I've been sat still for 10 minutes or something. So to be around a little bumblebee, a lot of people can get frustrated, because you're just like, would you just sit still for a second? Because visually, if you're a visual person, you got someone moving around, and that's really distracting. So all this, when you start to really unpick it, you think, well, if actually the visual learners got together and the auditory learners got together and kinesthetic learners got together, like, their creation, like, is that superhuman is created. So the course is like, they just evolved, didn't it? It went from giving children toolkits for their emotions and life challenges, and then it was like, no, hang on, let's teach them how they learn first, so that they can have anything they want in life, and just become the best version of them, and be proud to say, hey, I'm a little fidget monster, that's okay, that's what I need. But if you want me to be the best version of me, let me move. So that's the kinesthetic side.
That is something, because I'm equally very kinesthetic and very visual. So I need images. I need, like, PowerPoints to learn things with a lot of images, and I need a lot of colors and a lot of things that, like, that I can absorb visually, but also I need a lot of tasting and a lot of feeling to learn things. So I kind of relate with both of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is something that, for example, in schools, they don't get, teachers don't get this, that we all learn in different ways.
And they try, and to be fair to teachers, they do try and put it in all the different formats. But at the end of the day, classes are getting bigger and bigger. We went from 30 was a big class, now we're at 33, and then 35. That's a lot of different ways people learn. So if we can teach the children to say to put their hand up and say, Miss or Sir, can you just rephrase that or go over it, but can you do it in this way? I think that would help teachers a hell of a lot. Because, like we've spoke about, the education system, the children have evolved from the basic education system that we have now.
Like at the beginning, I remember when I was little, math for me, it's always been a struggle because it's very logical. But the way that my children learn math in school is a lot more of what I needed when I was little. So I'm a failure in math because the way that they taught me math didn't suit my learning style. If I learn math now, I could be like really ahead of whatever. So it's just that, like we were talking before, like the school system needs a little bit of a kick on the butt. and just adjust to these modern days now, really. Right. So what things do you learn in your courses? We have learned that you teach the kids in different, depending on the different learning style?
Yep.
What things do you teach in your courses?
So we teach the children how to really reflect on their own lives, to recognize the big events that happen in their life that are significant to them. So this is starting to help them not compare themselves to other people, or not feel that they've got to compare themselves to other people. So what is a big event in their life may not be a big event to somebody else, but if they've got the courage to say, yeah, this massive thing happened to me, this is what I'm working through, that's what we want for them. And also how to tell their story, what's going on for them now, what do they want to happen in the future, how can we get there? So that's one thing, to really be very self-reflective and to start recognizing themselves as an individual, recognizing their own strengths. So we talk a lot about obstacles that are in the way, and again, this is unique to each child. What obstacle is in your way? And then we get the children to reflect on the strengths that they have that can knock the obstacles out of the way. So really helping them see that tackling those obstacles is something that's in their control. It is something that they can steer and manage. It isn't something that's just happening to them that they have no control over. We also, as Naomi mentioned before, we teach routine. So really important, you know, Naomi and I are sitting here, we've got our book published, we've got an online course. We did not get here without a routine and without putting work in. I mean, a lot of graft, a lot of hours, a lot going on. So we want to teach children that if there's your dream, you've got to do something about it. You can't just sit at home and expect it to come true. But also recognizing that the people that they look up to, maybe it's an athlete, maybe it's a footballer, maybe it's an artist, those people worked for it. And we want children to know that managing your time, structuring how you use your time to achieve an end goal is something to start even in the younger years. We teach the concept of nothing is lost. So children can often feel very bereft. We're not necessarily talking about loss through death. We're talking about loss through a friend moving away, loss through lockdown has, gosh, that's created so much loss. But actually nothing is ever lost. It's just transformed into something else. So it's helping children see what can come along in place of something that is now missing. So again, it's all self-reflection. A lot about processing feelings, managing feelings, recognizing feelings, the big emotions that children really struggle with. We just want them to be masters of their own feelings, but not to shy away from them, and also not to try to force themselves to be what they're not on that particular day. It's using feelings to the best of, you know, to their advantage. I'm in this kind of mood today. What can I do with that mood? I'm in this kind of mood. And also how to communicate that within the family household. Really important. And then we teach them how to separate their life into 7 different areas so that they're focusing energy and love and work dedication into 7 different areas to lead a more fulfilled life. And then we teach them how to put it all together in a big toolkit so that it's accessible, so that they can think, right, well, I'm having this issue today, I'm having this problem, I'm feeling upset about this. I need number 7 from my toolkit because that's what I'm struggling with. So we wanted it to be something that they can, just as if, you know, if you're fixing a house, you go to your toolkit. What do I need today? I need a hammer, I need a paintbrush. Yeah, and how to take charge. This is one thing we're so passionate about. It's no good us just spouting big words at parents. You've got to reach the children. You've got to reach them. And, you know, as Naomi said, and as I've said, it's just, let's get to the nitty gritty of it. Children really appreciate the truth. They really do.
So you were talking about, like, for the children, how to communicate their feeling, how to process their feelings and stuff like that. But there is a lot of parents in the group that their kids have autism and they are ADHD. They might be bipolar. They have a lot of different mental health problems. A lot of them can be suicidal too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is that it's difficult for them to process and talk about those feelings.
Yeah.
Either understand other people's feelings or
Yeah.
them talking about those feelings. So how can you help these children?
Well, I think what I'm going to do is, because of my background and experience with the variety of different children, I'm just going to go kind of a rung above. So I understand and appreciate we've got autism, we've got ASD, we've got Asperger's, we've got dyslexia, dyspraxia. Okay, so if we put those in the category of their brain is wired in a different way, they have a different need, additional needs, basically. The difference is, for me, if we go to a simpler way of thinking about it, we've got to help these children stop going to their survival brain and keep in their thinking side of their brain. So the survival brain is fight, flight, freeze, or flop. Okay. Yeah. At that point, giving them any more information is like water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
So that is where in the course and in the book, we teach them about dandelion breaths, about how to use their breath to find their brave, but also how to pre-signal to people, I'm not okay, without verbally having to say it. So the first thing that happens when we go into survival mode, communication is lost. It's too far in the back of our brain. We can't access it. So if your child learns to, I've got one experience of a child learning to growl. So when they were kind of starting to wobble, they go, and everybody knew, okay, we just need to regulate. So the course helps them find that muscle and build that muscle memory of kind of anchors to say, you see them starting to go, you think, okay, you're struggling with this situation. But as soon as they start to kind of breathe, while oxygen's going around the brain, it can't go onto the survival stage. So they stay in thinking, and whatever they're in thinking, they can communicate with you. So a lot of parents then go straight in with the questions, how are you? What's wrong? Where are you? Now, that's a lot of language for kids now to try. They're like, I'm not even coping with this feeling inside. And now you're asking me 60 questions of words. I haven't even the foggiest what you're on about. So in part of the book and the course, it's about teaching parents, hey, just go simple. And you just go, and they go, and then you've got it. You know that they're not okay. And you know, and you think, well, do you want to go for a bath? Do you want to calm? Do you want to quiet? And they can sign to you their basic needs. But as soon as they know that you understand that there are times when they just can't talk to you, you'll find out they'll always find the words, because they're like, you get it. If I go mute on you, you're okay with it. And they learn that they can use their own internal understanding about themselves and their own dialogue to be their strength. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to raise warriors, they've got to know that inside them is their strength. That's why we talk, and we've just ran a competition, haven't we, about finding your brave animal, because bravery is like inside you, and they've got to find that and say, no, this is hard, but I'm brave. So with children but everybody falls in the category. If we did assessments on every single person in the population, we'd all have something wrong with us.
We would.
So we're all sat in kind of the same boat. So it's about helping children realize that actually, like with me, I need movement. So helping a child realize you need movement, or if they have got autism or things, they need sensory breaks and they need movement regulation and things like that, and they need different lighting. When they figure these things out, they'll start to see a pattern. Hang on a second, every time I'm in that environment, like trying to take a child with autism food shopping, that's a huge ask. That's like asking me to climb Mount Everest. There's a lot of preparation work that would have to go in fitness level, especially after lockdown. So for children, it's kind of like, oh, every time we go into that environment, their dragon comes out and suddenly you've shaken the Coke bottle, they come home and it explodes all around you. You get things flying past you and you think, I just went for a packet of biscuits or something like that. So, but the children will start going, I don't want to go to that place. And you go, why? And they'll go, because my dragon comes out. Or they'll step through the door at night after a hard day at school, and they'll look at you and they'll go, point to the fire drill that's stuck up on the fridge freezer, saying, we need to do the fire drill because I've got a feeling fire and I'm going to burn or explode at some point. So it's about giving them those tools of communication that's not necessarily verbal.
This is something that I tell to a lot of parents, because a lot of kids go through life or through the preteens and teenagers ages without being diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
So we think that they are naughty because they get angry and they get frustrated and they're rebellious, but it's not. They have a problem.
Yeah.
And they can't communicate it.
Yeah.
So this is something that I tell a lot of parents, like, first try to understand how your child see the world, instead of trying to mold your child to our world.
Yeah.
Because then the best way to help them is to see the world that they live on through their eyes. Yes. That's the best way to help them, and not wanting them to live our world.
Yeah.
It's totally different. So those things you were saying before just like make a lot of sense.
I'd also add with that, there's quite a bit of sometimes misinterpretation. You know, if a child is really struggling, and I'm going to generalize now just through patterns that I've experienced over my career, that if a child is close to a certain parent, like a mum, their mum turns into their emotional punchbag. And mums are like, why is it always me that gets it? Yeah. Now, this isn't, I'm not generalizing. There are dads who are that emotional punchbag too. But whoever the key parent is, and it generally is one, you have just received the biggest compliment you will ever get as a parent, because that child is going, I can lean on you so much and so hard, and I know you're not going to buckle. And as soon as a parent flips and realizes, oh my goodness, when their child comes in and you can see them coming at you, you're like, no, you think, hang on, you've had a bad day. Right. Let's bring out our toolkit. Let's help you through this. You're not just coming after me and just using a load of words and then walking off, and the parents there stunned with little like marks and stuff from the different words that they've used. And it's amazing the vocab that can come out at these stages. So for me, it's about parents realizing actually boundaries are really positive, because if you were falling, you would want to feel solid ground as soon as possible. And that's what boundaries are about. And also, if a parent is being the main target of a child's little nuclear bombs, it is a real big compliment, because they're saying, you make me feel really safe to just get this out of me, because I don't know what else to do with it.
Do you know, like, what that makes a lot of sense? Because I thought that my son hated me. Like, oh my God, like he was just burning me with all the arguments, with all the aggression, with everything. I thought that he hated me, but it's because he couldn't communicate, Mom, it's really you, the one that is there for me. And it's just like you say, like getting all my punches, because that's the person that I feel comfortable to do it to. That's the only person that I can express how I feel in the way that I feel it, because I know the way, you know. And to me at the beginning was like, this child hates me. Why is he hating me? Why? I don't understand this until I flipped, and I knew, no, it's not. He is telling me that I'm that person that can hold him all the time. And that's what a lot of parents don't understand. until we come with this idea today.
Yeah, and it's hard. Like, don't get me wrong, being an emotional punch bag, my goodness, you all deserve sainthoods, because it is, you're literally going into the ring every single day. Like, it is tough, and your emotional strength has to be at the top of the game. They're going to push you then in ways that you didn't know was possible, but you're also the key, because if you did the book and the course with the child, they would trust you, and they would trust that working with you, you're going for their greatest good, not just telling them what to do. So you're going to get the most out of them and the most answers, and also you'll probably uncover some things about them that they didn't even realize. They, like, the words, the questions we've put in the book are there to trigger memory recall for the kids, and you'll think, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that was such a big event for you, that we, I don't know, got a new cat, or you've got a brother and sister, or something like that, and they'll suddenly start to find words that you think, oh, that makes more sense.
That, you know, that's amazing. Everything that makes so much more sense now. I could be talking to you two like forever. We've been here 45 minutes already.
Wow.
So just like make it like quickly, like how can parents contact you? I'm gonna put all of your links and everything on top of the video for parents when they watch on replay. But how else can parents contact you?
So obviously we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we have a website. So they are the three main ports of call. We are open 24/7 to private messages, direct messages, both on Facebook and in Instagram. We also have an email, obviously, info@raisingawarrior.co.uk, so parents can email us with any questions. Like I say, we are always open to helping anybody, you know, if they've got any questions about any of our bravery tools that we sell.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what is the, because I know that you guys have something like very exciting going on. So what's the future for you two now?
Well, I think it's just growing. We've just finished a competition about to support Children's Mental Health Week, and we had some beautiful entries to do with that. Our main focus at the moment, I think through March and April, is me and Samantha are going to work on helping a lot of adults understand that their children aren't naughty, and that there are different reasons behind these behaviours, and how to unpick it, how to translate it. So I think we're just going to become children's translators for a bit, just to help parents understand those emotions and those triggers as well. So that, and then it's just, I don't know, helping children realize just how amazing they are, parents that they're raising these warriors. Anything you can add, Samantha?
No, I think we've got another article coming up that's about to be published, which is really exciting. And we also do what you're doing right now, Lydia. So we have an interview section where we interview different people with all kinds of different talents and strengths and gifts, so that we can do exactly what you're doing and just spread the message as far and wide as we can go. But yeah, it's we're really happy with our range of products now. So it's just all about reaching as many people as we can reach to help as many children as we can possibly help.
It's a tough time now for them, especially with this COVID, and they feel very isolated. They can't meet their friends. They just like wander a lot, and they lose a lot of confidence. And so reaching as many people and as many parents and as we can is what is going to help them. It's been my pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Lydia. It's been
just want to tell to any of my warriors that are watching, like, if you didn't watch this, like, if you want to watch and replace, you have any questions, just either post it underneath the video, or just like message Naomi or Samantha directly, use any of the links above to contact them. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. We're here to help your children too, and to give you solutions. And this is why we're doing this.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. We want to get down to the practical. So give parents practical tools to be able to start dealing with stuff today rather than waiting.
That's what we're about.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing, ladies. I'm going to let you enjoy your evening now. It was a pleasure to have you here with me.
Thank you.
For having us.
Any questions? Just like, if people just like contact you, feel free to post anything. Feel free to just like talk to people. Okay?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Amazing.
All right, wonderful.
I'll let you go then.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.